Let's talk 1971. My top 10 favorite albums of 71, at least ones that I have in my collection. First, this is what I know about 1971. This is, when it comes to music, this is the big one. This is the song that still is in my brain. Brandy, you're a fine girl, what a good wife you would be. But my life, my love, and my lady is the sea. Do 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 do. I think that was 71 if I remember right. Of one song in the whole wide world that stuck with me, that is the song. It was big in choir, choir's where I learned most of my music back then. That and AM radio. So let's begin. 10 albums. I want to show 11. This one it was really close. But I haven't listened to it enough. David Crosby. And this is his solo album. And it's called If I Could Only Remember My Name. Yeah, there's probably some truth to that. I just received this from Mark from Mad for Vinyl. And Mark sent me 20 albums. And we had talked, and he asked, he'd bought this big collection. And so I have, you're going to be seeing some of these. But this was one that says, if you had, because I saw I show this, if you have an extra, I would take it. Because Mazzy had recommended this to me many years. I did a Four Corners with him. And he had, the Birds and all that. It's not really what I'd listen to a lot. But he really recommended this. And so I asked Mark. And he sent it. And my God, this was a great album. I really liked it. And the people on this, it's like everyone under the sun. Grace Slick, Joni Mitchell, David Geffen. Well, I'm sure he didn't play. Paul Kettner. It's just Jerry Garcia, Jack Cassidy. It's incredible. Young, Nash, Lesh. What? Wow. Very impressed. It probably could have been higher, but I haven't listened to it enough. But I am so impressed with this album. I've never had a David Crosby album. I always thought he was kind of a douche. That's not nice to say, is it? He's probably a very nice person, but he seems big on himself. So there we go. Honorable mention, number 11. Okay, let's go to my number 10 album. Vinyl Richie. Everyone's seen his, and I'm following him, or I've jumped ahead of him too. So we do have some similar albums. There was a few others that might have been, but I kind of changed it up. Again, this is what I would really listen to. Please, in your comments, tell me what you really, your favorite albums from 71, because I find that so fascinating when you do that. But number 10, Flower Traveling Band, and Satori. They're out of Japan. And this album just starts with this screaming wail. And just go, whoa, baby. If you had that thing cranked on your CD, it's like, oh, what are we into? What are we going to be getting on this? Just an incredible reissue. I never would have known about this, but it was when it came being reissued, it was on the VC, and my buddy Bill Young at Michigan Record Club had bought this and talked to me about it. And I'm sure he played me something when I saw him. And so I purchased it, and it's like, my God, this is good. So this is a newer album of 71 that I have just fallen in love with and will spin over and over. Because again, these are the ones I really spin a lot. Then, let's bop over to number 9, Rolling Stones Sticky Fingers. So it's the first Rolling Stones I've shown. This really has a lot of good stuff on here. Brown Sugar. Okay, so lyrically, what they're talking about is a bunch of, I don't know. What a great album. The songs on here. Yeah, there's some slower tunes. But they were kind of changing up on what they wanted to do, and for the life of me, I cannot get the freaking album out here. Here we go. and this was gifted to me by a VC member after the flood. You know, you have Sister Morphine on here. You know, Bitch. Whoa, talk about fire. Brown Sugar, I love that. Wild Horses. Can't You Hear Me Knocking is just one of my all-time favorites. That is such a good song. This thing really was packed. And, you know, it kind of, there's some very slow. The last song had like some strings added. I didn't think you needed, but fun stuff. And, you know, a crotch. What more can you ask for? Andy Warhol did the cover. I mean, I just love it because Andy Warhol did the cover. Okay, let's come down to number 8, Pink Floyd Metal. I've shown a Pink Floyd, I think, every time I've done this. This is the transitional album. Adam Hart and Mother, they moved a new direction. This is when Dark Side of the Moon really began with this album, and you hear it. And there's only a few songs on here. They're very long. It's kind of like an African album, you know, like a Fela Kuti, one song per side. But the experimentation's happening, the soundscapes, finding different sounds, bringing them in. The experimentation within the studio is going hog wild, and now it's going to take them forever to put out a freaking album because it's just about, if we put those 2 spoons, what would that sound? Now let's put it in water. Let's do this. And I mean, they just began going nutty over the whole thing. But boy, did they make some stuff. So wonderful album. Just another incredible Pink Floyd album. Pink Floyd's been a group that I truly love. I mean, and just phenomenal. Okay. Number 7. Jack Johnson. I know Richie talked about this, and he said his point was, this is Miles Davis's rock album. And he's right, because McLaughlin's guitar is so prominent, more so than anywhere else. You know, Bitches Brew, you began hearing it. This is a guitar album. This was a soundtrack for the movie Jack Johnson. The thing is, the music did not match the movie, so it was never used for that. That's my original I had, and so it just never got used, so it just got put out for this. I mean, the music, it's not right, I would say, for that movie, but it rocks. It tears up the place. Incredible good album. For me, as far as Miles Davis, this is the last one that would make the top 10. You know, I like some of the other stuff. I like Big Fun. I like On the Corner. I really like those. But this is the last one that he really went out and did something totally different. So Jack Johnson. Next one, number 6. I don't have the cover anymore. I have the repress. An original goes for an incredible amount of money. This is Papa's Blues, and they're out of Argentina, and just 774 have it, 1,550 want it. Again, it came out of Argentina, and just you know, here's a high of 425, medium 250. It goes much higher than that, folks, some of these. Just what an incredible psychedelic rock. Here's the reissue that I had, and I just play this sucker all the time. It is just an incredible psych hard rock album out of Argentina. Dave from Local Bandography just recently got an original, and he had to trade in a lot of stuff to get this. I mean, it is not cheap to come by, but it is one of the most incredible albums. One of my top 50 albums of all time, easily. It is so good. You know, they did other blues albums, but nothing tops the first one of Papa's Blues. Just great stuff. Just, if it's on Spotify or whatever, I'm telling you, pull that up and just be, if you haven't heard them, be ready to be amazed. And I hope they do the reissue again. All right, number 5, we're coming in with Marvin Gaye, What's Going On. You know, he wanted to break away from things in Motown. He wanted to say something. He wanted to have a voice, and Motown was really against it. I mean, Marvin Gaye could be kind of erratic. Be honest. He was. And Motown's like, oh God, what's Marvin want to do now? And oh Lordy. But he created some incredible songs, and he made an extremely important album. I think there were some reissues coming out on this. One of the most important albums. The most important that he ever did. This is wonderful from start to finish. It's all good. What's going on? What's happening, brother? Save the Children, Mercy, Mercy Me, the Ecology song, Inner City Blues, You Want to Make Me Holler. You cannot go wrong. Everybody, I'm sure, knows this. If not, please, you have to. Such a, just incredible, beautiful soul music. Okay, we're coming down here. Number, I think 4. I'm trying to make sure I'm counting right, and I always seem to screw it up. Yeah, I got it. Fela Kuti had a couple albums this year. He actually had 3 of them. This is a big one with Ginger Baker. Well, I mean, not Ginger Baker. This one has Roy Ayers. Excuse me, not bad. This is the one. This is to me, his masterpiece. This is when he decided, he changed. He'd been to America. He had hung out with Sly. He had heard James Brown. He'd seen what was going on. He went back to London and he recorded this. This one actually has more, looks like, 3 songs. It's incredible. This is the Record Store Day reissue. And you can find this out there. If you want to start with a Fela Kuti album, this is the one to start with. Find this and buy this one. If you just want to experiment with him, you won't go wrong. It is very, very funky. It has such a groove, such a rhythm. It's hypnotic. It just keeps going on. It is wonderful stuff. So, number 4, love that album to death. Next, number 3, Jethro Tall and Aqua. It's always been said a concept album. Ian Anderson goes, no, it's not a concept album. Thick as a Brick is a concept album. My first time I heard Jethro Tall, when I became aware of them, was when Minstrel in the Gallery came out, and that was my first Tall I ever bought. So I came to this later in life. But Aqualung is on here. What more can you ask? Cross-Eyed Mary is on here. Mother Goose. My God is wonderful. Locomotive Breath. Boom, 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 boom. Super stuff. I'm a huge Tall fan. He's been my favorite for many years. This is the UHQR one. Sounds beautiful. So happy to have this. Just wonderful. Number 3. It's not my favorite Tall album, though. That's later on. Okay, number 2, The Who. Who's next? When I was, I heard this when I went to college. I finally got FM radio, and on FM radio, it seemed like every hour they played Baba O'Reilly. I mean, it was constantly being played, and Won't Get Fooled Again. And I mean, the song is over. This album was played again and again and again, and for good reason. It is amazing. On this, the pissing on here, Pete Townsend was the only one that really pissed on it. All the rest was water. No one else would take a leak on it, but Townsend said, I'll do it, and he did it. Everyone else, that's fake pee on there. No fun fact for you. This thing is incendiary. They brought in synthesizers and shown what can be done. They made it cool. They made it rocking. Again, to me, there's not a bad track on here. Listen to it front to back. Wonderful. And my favorite album, and this, I was with Vinyl Richie on this one, Led Zeppelin 4. This is a perfect album for me. Perfect. Every song is perfect to me. It's amazing. And I did not hear Led Zeppelin. My first Led Zeppelin was Presence. I believe it was 76. It was the first time I heard Led Zeppelin. I remember my brother in 75 was going to the prom. And the prom was my older brother. And the theme was Stairway to Heaven. You went into there and there was this spiral staircase in the middle. I go, what the hell is that about? Stairway to Heaven. What's that? I didn't know, because I hadn't heard it. None of my friends, were into any of that. And Richie says if you turn this backwards in a in a mirror, you're supposed to see an animal. Yeah, I didn't see it. I did see some faces in there, though. I did see some other stuff. I suck at those, though. Find the hidden picture. I'll stare at it forever. Go, I don't get it, but every song is perfect on here. I never have tired of this. I won't tire of it. Yes, Stairway to Heaven. Okay. I'm a little tired, except when Jimmy Page, when he does that guitar solo, it's amazing. And tell me, who hasn't played air drums to this? Who hasn't played air guitar to this? Who hasn't just done their own Robert Plant impersonation? This has it all. This cranks up in the car, man. You are rocking, and everyone else is looking, wondering, what is your problem in there? Perfect. A perfect album. There we go. 71. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to the next batch of 72. And remember, Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. Bye.